Hi Gemini, here is a general look at your solar chart for the whole of 2013, and because I've got a cold and a bit of a rough throat, apologies in advance for any snuffling. I'm going to make this as brief as I can for the whole of the year, but there will be a lot more details on my website, like for instance the Mercury retrograde times, and also when I describe the likely or the possible effects, not the likely effects, the possible effects of the planets on your sign. I will then mention the days in your sign in May and June that you may have been born on, that these planetary energies will be, the transiting energies of the planets will be connecting with the strongest over the whole of the year, and that you will find on my website. But without further ado, I must mention Mercury because it's your ruling planet. Mercury is going to be in Pisces for an extended period, starting February the 6th until April the 14th, 2014. And this is going to activate your career area. So discussions and strategies and plans and plots and schemes and ideas and correspondence could be very much centered around career, but also not just career, where you're going from here in life, and cultivating certain contacts, not what you know but who you know, could be very important, and definitely a time to be keeping your ear to the ground on a daily basis and doing what you do best, which is to gather useful information. Well, one of the things you do best, because you do quite a few things very well, being such an adaptable sign of the zodiac, with liking to have your fingers in so many pies. Now there's going to be two solar eclipses. The first one's happening on May the 9th, and it's going to be in the sign before yours, Taurus. That means it sort of hints at new beginnings in the area of money, basic resources, finances, and anything to do with the use of your talents and your gifts. And then the second solar eclipse is going to be happening in Scorpio on November the 3rd, and that will put the focus into signalling new beginnings in a personal or professional sense, with anything that you collaborate with another, or you hold jointly with another, or you share with another, and it could be about a relationship. It can be a working one, it can be a romantic one, it can be a business one, it could be a family one, whatever. And the eclipse at that time is going to conjunct Saturn with Mercury, your ruling planet, not very far away, which may mean you have to take this area more seriously over the coming 6 months. So the first solar eclipse will affect the subsequent 6 months, and so will the second. And then Venus is going to be in Capricorn for a very long time, but that's not happening until close to the end of the year, November the 5th, and it will be in Capricorn from then until March the 6th, 2014, which is a very, very long time for Venus to be in one side of the zodiac. And it could mean good news for you, actually, Gemini, because the potential abundance of Venus through that long transit is going to be going through a joint financial area, also an area to do with property. So make hay while the sun shines with that one. You could get yourself a bargain, or you could sell something well or buy well during that time there, and someone could just pick up the tab for you, you know, in minor ways, just when you need it. But you just feel financially a little bit more support there, I think, coming in. And then Mars is going to be in a very long transit, but starting in the very last month of the year, from December the 8th, going to be in Libra, a fellow air sign, until July the 25th, 2014. Very good news for you, again at a good angle to your sun sign, meaning you can get lots done, and dynamically activating your area of creative enterprises, romance, investments, the leisure or entertainment industry, children, youngsters, and you'll probably get more than one opportunity to enjoy playing a role, enjoy being centre stage, or enjoy feeling that you're working more from your creative core in some way. And definitely admiring glances could be coming your way as well if it's to do with romance. Now, Jupiter entered your sign on June the 11th, 2012, and will leave on June the 25th, 2013. And then it's going to go into Cancer. So it's a time for you to spread your wings, Gemini, with Jupiter in your sign. It only comes around once every 12 years. There could be more contact with those at a distance, travel, foreign cultures, or just a culture very different to what you're used to. And then you learn a lot from it. And education could be part of the picture, but it could be like informal education. It's just that you're learning, you're picking an awful lot up every day, or rather just picking a bit up every day. But when it does connect with one of your planets or your sun, then that could be a real sort of roller coaster of taking in new things. But it just feels like the whole world is going to be expanding and potentially into new areas, and there is a lot of potential feeling, you know, the air, promise, crammed with potential. Good time to launch into fresh enterprises, and for some of you, good time to look into the legal side of things, whether that's in a major or a minor sort of a way. And then from June 25th, when Jupiter leaves your sign, it then, you know, it's a win-win really, because it then goes into a financial area. So you're going to have more than most some really good vibes in a financial area, either at the end of the year, that's towards the end of the year, that's Venus one, or this one from the middle of the year. And this is a time for you to capitalize upon assets, be they external to you out there, you know, or internal ones which you can actually turn into cash, or whatever it is that you've always had a yen to try out or to get better at. Here with this transit of Jupiter, you could, with that underpinning, be successful. Definitely time to cast your nets wide, Gemini, throughout the whole of the year. And what more can I say really? Got to mention Saturn. Saturn has transited into Scorpio and is now in mutual reception with Pluto, which kind of intensifies and harmonizes both the energies. It's quite neutral, it's not negative, positive, it's just neutral, but it does mean that for you should be cautious in the joint finance sector, the joint interest sector, the sector where you share with another, or you have an agreement with another, and just, you know, being more cautious, and anything to do with basic resources, really, and also globally, this one here, Saturn and Pluto, means that there's a slow tightening by the powers that be, maybe over money, markets, or economies, or other basic resources, or over governments, or and the population, obviously, as well. So Saturn went into Scorpio on the 6th of October 2012, and will come out of there in 2015. So it might mean for you is a tougher work schedule. It's in your area of work, and it's also to do with health, so you've got to be more sensible, more self-disciplined, Gemini. Yeah, the time comes when you've got to be more self-disciplined about health and fitness, and that can also mean over that long transit you are concerned about certain others' health and fitness as well. And that includes diet, of course. So some of you will get seriously involved in improving things, getting into gardening maybe, or becoming interested in whole foods, organic foods, healing remedies, whatever they are. But definitely this transit of Saturn over the whole nearly 30-year cycle is the stitch in time saves 9 part of it. So really, where Saturn is going to be, you've got to sort of clean up your act where health is concerned, or it would be advised to clean it up as well as you can where health is concerned, but also there's likely to be more on your shoulders as far as work is concerned, and more service to others on a more sort of regular basis, keeping things ticking over as well, taking it a bit more seriously, maintenance and repairs, and it's a great time actually to train in new skills and apply yourselves in very sort of useful ways. Employers, workmates, colleagues, service providers may feel annoying at times because it will be through them that you meet the challenges, and because Saturn likes to do everything slowly, then this will be a gradual unfolding in that area there. Now Uranus is in a positive, opportunistic aspect to your sun sign. This is brilliant news for you, and it's moved out of your career sector where it's brought uncertainty and chopping and changing for about 7 years, and it's going to be transiting a house it prefers for the next 7 and a bit years. It's a very sociable area, very innovative area. It can be even a technical sort of area, scientific area, but it's also, over and above everything, to do with special interest groups collaborating with those of like mind, picking their brains, them picking yours, you learning things from them, they learning things from you, and this is a really good aspect for you. And you know, feeling really refreshed in this area here, and groundbreaking influences could inspire you, and very much something that you left down the road a long time ago in that little pot of hopes and dreams. You could be rooting around in there now and pulling those out and holding them in your hand and being able to take those forwards in a way that perhaps you never dreamt you could. And more likely to be developing interests in new and maybe even quite bizarre areas, or maybe using technology that you know, raises others' eyebrows because they never thought you could or would or whatever. And also not just technologies, but anything to do with aliens or UFOs, or anything to do with other dimensions as well. This is very much up Uranus's street in this area here. Neptune has been making its influence felt in rather sort of an escapist area, a maybe unrealistic area for a long time, but it's now gone to the top of your chart, which is a career area, which is a little bit of a tricky place for Neptune, because Neptune is about no ego, and actually the top of your chart is about ego. So you've got to find ways of being a little bit more humble, a little bit more selfless, maybe more artistic for some of you. This is a way it can work. Or nurturing, this is another way it can work. Or philanthropic, you know, volunteering for this or that or the other. That's another way it can work. But it's if you're interested in any of the areas to do with the sea or water, that's to say boating, or anything to do with hospitality, catering, or anything to do with healing, spirituality, the arts, photography, film, charities, anything charitable, anything that serves the common good, or anything which uses illusion to weave a story, then you could do very well with this vibration. And then Pluto is coming across your sign from Capricorn, and it is life-changing, but it's in a very subtle angle, and that means that you're slowly letting go of old approaches, old scenarios. Could relate to property, could relate to finances, could relate to relationships, and deep bonds that you share with another or have shared with another. You're beginning to let go, and you're beginning to move on maybe from certain deep heart connections into new ones. So for some of you, this means that you can cash in on maybe some kind of rebate or inheritance. That can always be a possibility. But because it is a control freak planet, there can sometimes be power struggles around assets or around joint interests or finances or property. It all depends on you really, because none of the planets do anything to us so much as trigger certain vibrations to which we can respond, a bit like the weather actually. Pluto can be a little demanding in this area at times. Maybe there's a plutonic type of person around you who is demanding and who maybe knows how to push those buttons, but that could mean that you do a little bit of inner work, and then you realize that once you come into alignment with yourself, then everything out there comes into an alignment too, and you should make progress with something that you wanted to do perhaps for a very long time. And you'll see which part of your sign that affects by looking on my website. And that's it for the whole of 2013. I wish you a very happy and fun festive season and new year, and I will see you the next time.